All right, y'all. Welcome back to episode 15?
16.
Episode 16 of the Everybody But Me show. Today, we are talking about love languages, and Katie brought to my attention, there's something called fighting languages.
Yeah.
And she says, I have a bunch of those. So we're going to be discussing those. I'm sitting here with Phil, Katie, and Dominique, and we are back for another great episode. I'm excited to have you guys here today. Katie, kick this thing off.
Let's hit it. I want to know what makes you feel most loved. Not your love language, just what makes you feel most loved.
All right. What makes you feel most loved?
That's a good one.
That's a really good question. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Phil, what makes you feel most loved?
Let me think about that one.
Dominique, you got it?
Yes, being heard.
Being heard?
Appreciated. I love that. Actually, read a meme the other day on Instagram. It was like, if I told you right now to list 10 things that you love the most, would one of them on the list be yourself? And I was like, damn. It's kind of like opens your mind. Like, do you give yourself enough self-love? Just something to think about.
Well,
Gotta love yourself first.
This song is all about being heard right here. So with that being said, here's Usher, Simple Things. And let's get this night going. Have a drink. Pour it up. Let's have a night. Let's get this thing after.
Ooh.
Let's get after this thing. I love that song.
I'm happy you do.
Like, baby, you got that nice ass watch on over there, but you got the time to spend it.
Unfortunately, not on Tuesdays.
My bad, y'all. My bad. We have long work days on Tuesdays. How's everyone's work day going today?
Good.
Today was productive.
Yeah.
I love a productive day.
Good.
Yeah.
Tate
Felt
was
better
awesome.
today. Yeah. Monday kicked me right in the nuts, y'all. I ain't gonna lie.
It always
too.
does.
Monday kicked me right in the nuts.
Yeah.
But today's Tuesday, and I always look forward to this. And I'm excited to get into this. And I love our listeners. I love the ones that call in and share their stories. It's so much fun. So I'm excited for today to hear about y'all love languages, y'all's fight languages. Let's do this damn thing.
Yeah. Make sure you're using that chat.
Yeah, I'm in the chat with y'all. Also, in the chat with us, mediating. Oh, the chat is bumping right now. Hey, y'all, I see you in the chat. Tate is going to be moderating the chat. What's it called, Tate? Tada_it's Tate. I wasn't fucking far off. So share some of your stories, share some of your stuff, and Tate will be sharing the good stuff with us, and we'll be putting it up on the show and repeating it and putting your input out there. So,
But before we get to that, Tyler, I want to know what makes you feel most loved.
what makes me feel most loved? I want to say acts of service, but because I haven't like that does make me feel loved, but I have a hard time accepting it because not many people have done that for me in my past, so I don't know how to accept it. So I get so used to not accepting it, but I feel like that would make me feel very loved, but I haven't had it enough to like really like feel good about accepting it. Like when they're like, "Oh, I did this for you," I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. And it's a weird thing that I go through. I don't know if anyone ever feels similar about that. But that's I would think that would be it. But I feel like I don't know about most loved. I guess when someone tells me like they love me, you know what I mean? Like that's important to me. That's when I felt probably the most love. But when I feel my most peace is when I'm with you. And I'm like laying next to you.
Quality time.
Yeah. So I would say I feel my most love when someone tells me that they love me. And it's unwarranted. Like it's nice when you say like, I love you, like, and they hear I love you too, like,
Right.
That's kind of like kosher. Like you get used to that. But when like they come out with like I love you, what are you laughing at, Kate?
Can't.
What's going on?
I'm just laughing because I'm like, what makes you feel most loved? He's like, words, acts of service, quality time, touch. I'm like, okay, everything.
Everything.
I just
All
need
of
to be
it.
loved, man.
In all the ways.
Yeah.
But I think he's referring to like, okay, when do you normally say I love you? It's like when you're saying goodbye in the morning or at night, right?
But
Like
a random I love you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
nice.
That's what he
Yeah.
was talking about, I feel
Yeah.
like mid, just like when Dale texted you and he was looking at your computer or whatever, like, I love you, whatever he
Like
said.
the out of the blue ones.
Yeah. So cute.
Like when I had a girlfriend and I'd leave her house and I'd be driving home like 45 minutes. I get a random text like, I love you. It was so great spending. I'm like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get that little belly happiness.
Yeah, that was really nice, you know?
The little reminders.
Phil, what about you?
I have to piggyback off of Dominique. I thought about it, and it's definitely appreciating, like being appreciated by people, period, or especially your loved one. Like random texts in the middle of the day, my wife goes, I really appreciate you. For you, I get to stay home with Antonio. And that just like, oh, you know what? I want to work harder.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely appreciate that. So just being appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And then like that coincides with being heard too, because I feel like I love when somebody, like I tell them something about like little details and then they recite that back to me during the week. Like, oh, didn't you have that meeting at 12 today? Like was so pumped for you. Like, how did it go? Like you're actually listening to me and like all the things I tell you. So I feel most loved when I feel appreciated.
Very good.
Yeah.
Kate?
Kate?
I think mine is probably acts of service. I believe. Because like it's the little things that make me feel like we're a team that I'm like, this is what a partnership is all about. You know?
Yeah.
I just love that you said we're a team. Like I feel like that's so important.
Yeah, I feel like
Where do you think that comes from, Kate?
Team?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you mean?
Because I mean, I feel like you came up in like such a big household.
Yeah.
Like you guys had to be a team. So I was just wondering if like it was just because of that or.
Yeah, could have been for sure. I also think that like I grew up in a single family household where I watched my mom do a lot of this stuff. So seeing like me not have to do that is like, oh, whoa, this is actually awesome. I get help, you know?
'Cause I feel like you take a lot of initiative to do so much stuff. I mean, I think it even carries over into work. You just knock everything out. You know what I mean? And like,
Might be a little bit of OCD too, but but yeah, I think it's my love language of like, that's how I like things done for me. And I think we'll like talk about it too. Like you typically love the people the way you want to be loved in a sense. So it's like, to me, acts of service is so like, I appreciate it. So when like, I know other people need things done, I want to get it all done for them. So that way they can just coast. Yeah.
So are we talking about though how like, because that can get tricky in a relationship. So if you like acts of service, right? And then the other person doesn't do that. I hear a lot of my friends complain about that. Like I do all these little things for him. He never does anything for me. But
well,
it's like, maybe that's not the way he shows love.
I know somebody that's getting a divorce right now because their wife said they like this, you know, type of love, but really that was the love they felt like they needed to give that person. And so she wanted that, but then in the end, he was trying to give her that. That's not what she wanted, and now they're having a divorce
Yeah.
after all these years.
That's the
kids.
tricky part.
But I think that also comes down to love language and communication. Like as like silly as it sounds to talk about like, hey, how do you like being loved? Like it is something you have to know because otherwise you're just going to love people the way you want to be loved. And that might not coincide with the person that
Very true.
you're in love with.
You are absolutely
know?
right about that. Yeah, I think it's a learning process throughout your growing with your significant other because it could change. Like you asked me what my
100%.
love, mine could be something different each day. I'm just needy, you know.
Right.
So
And it's like 99% of the time physical touch.
Yep.
But there's those days you come home where you're like, I want to take a shower by my damn self and I want to get in bed, I want to watch TV, and I don't want anybody to talk to me.
And that's hard. I feel like I've
That's
like
tough.
been in relationships like that where I'm so used to consistency of like, oh, they want touch and this and this and that. Like they want to shower with you. They want to do all this stuff with you. And then when they don't want to do that, you're like,
Oh no, is something wrong?
What's
what
wrong?
I
what the
do?
hell did I do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and like, it was, and like, I struggled with that because I was like, all right, something's up. You know what I mean? And then it would take me hours to get out of what's going on.
Yeah.
And like, that was like, I was like, why are we wasting all this time?
We'll get there in fight languages, right?
Yeah.
But I also think, like you said, it comes down to communication. Like when you come home and you have had a rough day, just communicate like, hey, I need some time. It's not you, it's my day, you know?
I think specifying that it's not you though, because people always take that type of
Oh, yeah.
stuff to heart and it gets awkward.
I even think when you say it's not me, it still may, if you're a sensitive person, you're still going to feel like you did it. Am I right or wrong, Kate?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I'm a Pisces and
You feel
we're
that Libra
sensitive.
thing at
I'm
you,
always
yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
You know, I
What did I do
overthink
wrong?
it.
Well,
Yeah.
for me, it's always like nothing. It's something else. And then I find out it is me. I'm like, well, then why?
Right.
Why'd we just
Yeah.
beat around the bush?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hurt your feelings, so
Yeah.
no one's going to be honest about that.
So there's 5 love languages. Apparently, after years of studying, there's 5.
After a couple Google searches.
There's words of affirmation, acts of services, receiving gifts, quality time, physical touch. I want you guys to comment in the section. What are yours?
Use the chat.
Use the chat. I want to see what's the majority. I'm interested to see like what most people like. But Dominique, what's yours?
Words of affirmation, 100%. I'm the type of person, and I mean this, like obviously, all right, so let's think holidays coming up, Christmas coming up. For gifts, one main thing that I would seriously love is a handwritten letter.
Yeah, I always say
Like
that.
if you tell me how I'm improving your life, how we're a team, Billy agrees with me over here, like
You know?
that type of stuff just means the world to me. It's so important to me. And I think like people don't express themselves enough. And I think there's nothing wrong with being able to really tell someone how you feel. So that's mine.
Kate?
I think mine is it's hard to say. Acts of service day to day, but physical touch is just I feel like it's a given. Like I always want to be holding hands and hugging and loving.
You stole
and,
Phil's.
Me too.
Yeah,
That's me all
but acts of service besides that. I think gifts is really my only not
You're
lovely.
doing all of them. I would have
I want them all. I want them all. Can I have them all except gifts? I'm not really a gifts person.
Oh, man.
I was going to join Kate. I want them all, but I do like gifts though. And it's like a small gift is special. Like, again, my wife will buy me flowers. I buy her flowers once a month. When she does it for me, it's like, man.
She buys you flowers?
I
Yes,
love
she
that.
does. Yes.
That's
and
so
I do
cute.
like flowers. So like maybe men won't admit it, but you surprise your man with flowers, it's just a different thing. It's showing that you care in a different way, you know?
Would you like flowers, Ty?
No.
Well, see, I do. Listen, treat me the way I treat you.
They would be dead so quick.
am I gonna do with these damn things?
You know what? Like,
It would be
listen,
dead
has
so
anyone ever
quick.
bought you flowers?
I got my designer brought fake tulips here to the fucking office.
No, Tyler would leave them on the counter. They would not even be in a vase of water, and then they would be shriveled up like dead in a week. That's what.
A week, a couple days.
Yeah.
Then don't buy Tyler flowers. Got
Yeah,
it?
don't buy me flowers.
But I
Buy me some
think that's
cookies.
awesome that you love that.
Oh, yeah.
She knows that. So
No, that is cool. And yeah, like I said, everyone likes to be loved differently.
It's different.
I'll buy you some flowers this week.
But touch is my number one thing, though.
What's your favorite flower to get, Phil?
I like roses. Just,
like roses?
just be simple. You know, the fact that you went out and did it, that made me feel special.
What's yours, Ty?
My love language would probably have to be I think number 1 is physical touch. And then I would say right behind that is words of affirmation, but I think it comes from insecurity in my relationships in my past. Is why I needed affirmation. You know, I'd always be like, you know, do you are you still into this? Like, do you want more? Because we'd be arguing about so much stupid shit. I'm like, why are we even doing this? You know, do you really want to do this? Why is this an issue? You know, and so words of affirmation became something that would really fulfill an insecurity for me. And so I don't even know if it truly is something that is important to me, but it's something that I needed because I was not in the best place in that relationship. And I think that's something that is more of a me thing, that once I get more confident in a relationship or in myself or in what I'm doing, I won't need that. You know, I'll be honest with y'all. Here's a true insecurity. You know, I'm dating these girls and I'm like, I still think I'm Joe Schmo Tyler. You know what I mean? I don't care how much dollars I have in my bank account. I don't care what car I drive, whatever. I just think I'm just a little Jupiter boy from a small town.
you are at heart.
Yeah, you know, and so it's like I'm dating these girls who, are being courted by, everybody, and I'm like, why the fuck they want to be with me, So then I'm like, sometimes I need that words of affirmation because I'm like, to that reassurance, because I don't I'm like, why you want to come stay in my little shitbox house here in Jupiter? You know what I mean? And then, you know,
Because you're fun and you're kind.
exactly. Which I'm different, but you know, none of that shit has also worked out in my past either. And they've always ran for what I was insecure about. You know what I mean? And so that's just part of dating. I think part of dating, the girl I dated was definitely too young for me to date prior. You know what I mean? So there was definitely something there. But you know, those are true insecurities that I have because I'm dating in a new world now. I'm dating in a new light and I'm meeting new people and new spaces and new worlds. And, you know, it definitely creates some insecurities because I don't feel like I'm where I need to be yet. And I'm competing with all these people who have way more than me, you know? And so I think that's why words of affirmation were something that I needed. And it's almost more because of an insecurity thing.
So it's not actually like the way you needed to be loved. It's more like filling your insecurities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think
That's pretty deep.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Someone gave me this theory the other day, and I think it makes sense too. And it was about your love languages and how what your love language is always evolving. It's always changing. It's usually changing to what you lack the most in that relationship. And I think that's an interesting way to look at it because it's not always just going to be physical touch. Sometimes you're going to need words of affirmation. Sometimes you're going to need just quality time, or like, damn, he hasn't really done much for me, and then he does his acts of service. It might sweep you off your feet and blow you away. You know, so I think it's always changing. So don't get caught up in just what it is.
Right.
You know,
the one on here about receiving gifts, I feel like it should also be like giving gifts. And how do we feel about that? Because I'm a gift giver, like big time. I love doing it. Just small little things. Like if I see your favorite drink and I'm stopping to get gas, I'm going to pick it up at the gas station. Like that's just like how I am. And sometimes I do get insecure in my relationships of like, is this person thinking like, damn, why is she always buying me something? And it's not because I'm trying to buy your love. It's something that I like enjoy to do. So I just want to get your take on that.
No, I mean, for me, like I've tried to buy everything. If I'm taking you out to dinner, I'm buying it. If I'm doing anything with you, I'm buying it. You know what I mean? Just because, like, I think I said this before, but when I am in a relationship with you, I'm financially invested, I'm emotionally invested, and all those things makes it harder for me to give up or quit on what I'm in. You know?
Right.
And so, but like, it is nice every now and then to have someone buy me a drink or buy me this or buy, like that is a nice change of, I always think it's sweet. Like, you pick up coffee from me or you pick up this or whatever. Like, I love that. You know what I mean? Right. So I don't think there's, I don't know a guy that would be like, that ain't cool to me,
Right.
I love that.
I almost look at those little things as acts of service too, because it's like you're giving something that he loves, but it's not like it's like some extravagant gift.
Yeah. No, it's all like small things that I do, but I do it a lot, and it's like my way of showing love.
Like I was thinking about you today while I was getting gas.
Have you ever felt like this? Like a guy is buying you so much stuff, like so much nice stuff. Is he just trying to buy my love? Does he even care? Like the song we just talked about. Like I can buy the nicest watch, but can I spend the time with you actually?
Well, that's also how I feel about words of affirmation versus acts of service. Like, yes, words are reassuring, but to me, like your actions are louder than your words. But I also think, going back to your point, that stems from my past of like, I heard the nicest things, but the actions were completely opposite. So now to me, it's like, I only want to see actions. Like, yes, I care about your words. I love notes, but at the end of the day, like it's the actions that'll speak louder to me than words.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's guys who can use that as like against you, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I just bought you this and I just got you this. And like, you're like, well, it's just simple. The things I'm asking you to do are very simple.
Yeah.
And you're throwing in my face something kind that you did for me. That you're not supposed to ever bring that up. Like, hey, I got you this for Christmas, remember? Like, who does that?
No. I mean, I feel like a lot of people do hold things over other people's heads.
Yeah.
all the time. I mean, I even heard it in my own household growing up. Like, I pay for this, I pay for that, I pay for this, And my mom was like, but you don't pay your attention bill. And my mom didn't care about any of that shit, but she just wanted to have someone at the house to love her and be there with her and be there for her. My dad had a problem. He couldn't come home, and that was, but he worked his ass off and paid for everything, and he thought that's all he had to do. And so my next question for y'all is, do you think the love you saw from your parents affects the way you perceive love languages or give love?
Of course it does. Absolutely.
And how did it affect you, Phil?
Well, growing up as a kid, I would always watch my father opening the door for my mom, pulling her chair out, buying her flowers once a month, going to the salon. Like, I watched that, and I was a little baby going with. So it's kind of what I'm trying to repeat, like the love that my dad showed my mom. So I'm like, well, that must be how it's supposed to look. That's why it took me so long to find it, So yeah, it definitely will affect you in your future,
Kate?
Yeah, I think for me, like everyone in this room knows that my dad was super strict and, he was harder. He's tough. That's just like who he was. And he had a hard time, I think, showing my mom appreciation and acts of service. So I think it did kind of affect me in my beginning relationships. But something that I thought was so great about him is like the giving gift things. Like every holiday, my dad would take us to the dollar store and he would make us get a gift for every single family member on both my dad and mom's side. So it'd be like $50 each. And then we'd have to call them and be like, we have this gift for you. But it was him showing us that like you show respect to your elders and giving gifts is important and spreading holiday love. So he taught me all those good things. But I don't know. I think in the beginning for me, it was like, should this guy treat me this way? Because my dad didn't show my mom like a lot of affection, So it can affect you that way.
Yeah. I think for me, like I was saying probably in the opposite. Like I saw what my mom went through and now it's like she left that when I was young, which is I commend her for because I don't remember a lot of it. Yeah. And she's taught me now, like, don't follow in my footsteps. I don't want this for you. Like, I want you to find somebody who's going to support you and going to love you and going to do this. So she's kind of instilled that in me. So now I'm like, okay, this is what I need. Obviously, I didn't listen for a couple years there, but what about you, Ty?
I don't think I ever saw a healthy relationship at my house. My mom and dad, I never saw physical touch or any kind of connection like that. It just was almost like they were just people living with each other, and then there was a lot of fighting. My mom was very strong in her beliefs and my dad was too. And they definitely went through a lot of their shit. And they both had, and my dad and mom both had demons and things they had to work out, They both suffered a lot of loss as kids and trauma and had to do a lot of things on their own. And so I think it was two kids that married each other and had no support, and so it was just like figuring it out. My dad had no mom and dad at the age of 21 and no brother or any family at the age of 29,
Yeah, it's really tough.
So it's like try to, my dad met his dad one time, so he never had a father figure, and then, he had a mom who died at 21, and up until that point, he had a stepdad who was an alcoholic that fought in the war, and like who just lived as a drunk, And so it's like he never had anyone to teach him what is right and what is wrong, And so growing up, seeing how my parents interacted with each other, it was never healthy. It was never, they loved each other. They like, my dad misses my mom all the time, that they were best friends but they were oil and water. They just didn't mix,
Yeah.
And so from them, I've learned in my past relationships, I still have issues because of them, because of what I've seen and because of what I didn't see on what love is. And so I think when I do fall for somebody, I get really attached because I've never seen it and never felt it, and I just want to chase it. You know what I mean? And that's why I always like chase that fire, because that's what my dad always said. Like when he met my mom, it was fire. That's how you find it. you know. But, you know, I chase that fire and I feel that fire and I run with it because I've never felt that feeling. I've never seen that feeling before, you know. So everything I've seen in a relationship and looked at was what I've seen on TV as a healthy relationship or seen in a R&B music video as a healthy relationship. But that really ain't real, you know? And so I think, you know, why I crave and want physical touch because I never saw it. You know, why I want words of affirmation also is because I never saw it or heard it.
Right.
You know? And so, you know, acts of service, my mom did that all the time for my dad. You know, that was just like what she did, you know? And my dad's acts of service was paying the bills, paying everything, you know, that's what he thought, you know? He'd buy himself a boat. He'd be like, oh shit, I better buy her a new band, bro. She's gonna be mad at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like those things to me, like quality time, I put right there with physical touch. I put them kind of in the same category.
I agree.
You know, those are all things that I've never seen in a relationship. And so when I get it, I crave it because I never had it. And I think that's where I have my issues and whatnot. Because I think I have abandonment issues. You know, I think I have, like, when I'm with somebody, I don't want to leave them because I'm scared of what happens when I leave them.
Right.
You know, and I think that it just becomes from never having anything healthy in front of me to look at or to follow or to know, like, how to have distance and how to have time away from each other. Just because I never, you know, just never saw it. Never saw a good relationship. You know?
Yeah. I think, like, where you can turn that, because I just think it was so awesome that you opened up like that. But now that you're older, it's like having people like fill in your life. Like for me, it was outside, like when I finally went to college and outside of my household, and I saw healthy things and families interacting a certain way. And I was like, wow, I've never seen something like that. I've never seen a relationship like that. That's where I kind of learned from like other people in scenarios. So you have such a great circle. And I think that's so beautiful because you can learn from them.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's about like setting the tone of what you wanted as a kid, what you want. Like for me, I was like, when I was in a toxic relationship, it was like, wait, I'm about to, God forbid I had kids with that person. Like I'm about to now raise that kid the way that I would have never wanted to be raised myself. So it's like for you, you're setting the tone. You want kids, like you're going to be a great dad. So it's like now you get to redesign this and set the tone and be a Phil and show how to love.
Yeah.
Because you're great at it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you're breaking a cycle too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You are breaking,
and I see with my little brothers too. Like I see with Ryan, especially like Ryan is such a hardcore lover. Like he's like me, like he grabs on, he holds on, like he just, he loves hard, you know? And I think it's just because he never, and Austin, I'd say is pretty close to that too, you know? But I think Ryan, you know, they all share that because like they never saw it. That's what they want now. You know what I mean? We've always wanted that because we never had it, never saw it, but we've always dreamt of it, you know?
Yeah. I can relate to that.
Yep.
So fight languages? Or are we going to a song?
Let's go to a song. That was a lot.
Yeah,
That was good though.
That was real good.
How about this? Let's break it up. I need a song request from y'all. I want to hear what y'all want to hear, what y'all want to listen to. The third song request I see is a song I'm playing. So comment right now, and I'm playing the song.
Thank God, because we never know the lyrics to Tyler's songs, everyone. So please help us.
We need a karaoke board up.
Are you accepting callers? We'll be accepting callers in about 2 rounds. I'm about to be on.
All right, Phil, give us your famous line that you always do, that song you sing.
Come and talk to me. I really want to meet you, girl.
Phil, give me your best radio voice real quick.
Let's not do the radio voice during the break.
Get freaky, Phil.
PG.
Hey, Phil, look into the camera.
No, Tyler said R. Let's go. Hit it.
No R.
Oh,
We want it.
you can't put me in a spot.
Yes, I can. Come on now.
Do the deep voice.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies, just do me a favor. Grab that beautiful glass of wine you got in your hand. Take a sip. And that's it.
And enjoy the song.
And we're back. That was a good song.
I'm such a better person than
That's a classic song.
We're live. That was a good song.
I'm gonna stay here all night and snuggle you.
It's going down and out. 3, I bag it like some groceries, and after I leave, you going every part of me.
Going down in the DM.
That was a good song, T.
About to set you free sexually, mentally, physically, emotionally.
I said he hit all the love languages right there.
I'll be like your medicine. You'll take every dose of me. That's a great song. Who picked that song? I'm gonna go back to the chat and see.
You know all the words of that one too.
You give me some Usher. I know what's popping.
So I was watching a TikTok video, and that's what inspired the fight languages thing. Because I was like, that's also interesting to know, like, how your partner fights, you know? And as in fights, I mean, like, argues. Everybody argues. Right. Everybody has, you know, disagreements, and it's life. But then when I was reading through these, I was like, I personally don't really relate to any of them, but maybe you guys do. So the first one was like righteous, like I'm right, you're wrong. Like in an argument, like that's your mentality.
I sometimes feel like I gotta be righteous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I'm stubborn, and like I think it's like I'm not talking about just any like relationship. I'm talking about in general fighting. Something I've learned is I like Katie's always like hears me like in an argument with somebody. And she's like, just bite your tongue, because I sometimes want to have the last word. You know?
With some people, it's just not worth it. And it's a matter of like, sometimes I do know you're right. But sometimes it's just, we gotta get through the day.
When I'm right, what do I always say? Damn right, I'm right. I can't remember the time I was ever wrong.
Yeah, isn't that lovely?
Usually with Katie, though, I'm wrong.
So, yeah, I would say you are that way right off of the dome in the middle of an argument sometimes. But if you sit back and you wait a day, I think you're able to see both sides.
Yeah, that's why I think at that point, like, too, if you're ever in an argument, the best thing to do is sleep on it.
Yeah, you're no.
No? Well, I'm talking about not relationship. I'm talking about
okay.
Well, even relationships, sometimes it's better to sleep on it. Because you can get irrational and say some shit. Like my mom saw red, and when she was mad, everything was coming out. You know what I mean? Like everyone was getting hit. She'd be yelling at my dad. Next thing you know, she was yelling at me.
I agree.
And I was like, I'm over here playing video games. I'm over here playing Madden, trying to beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
And I'm over here getting yelled at for a D I got 3 years ago. You know what I mean? You stupid fucking idiot.
I also think that sometimes people's anger goes to like the easy target of like maybe they weren't even mad at you, but now you're the easy target. So
I'm going after you.
That's Katie currently in the work right now, because Katie is really like the mediator between me and a lot of or the liaison between me and a lot of the people that I work with right now, and they'll always just get mad at Kate.
Yeah, they want me to be like the middleman or middle woman in this sense, but like, you know, sometimes people don't like what they hear, and I'm like, wait, this is Tyler's words and not my words. You can't get mad at me.
Sounds like a you problem.
Yeah. So I think like sometimes it definitely is better to sit there and try and digest the moment. Like what I try to tell myself is if something bothers you, swallow it, try and sit on it, eat it for 20 minutes. And if it's still bothering you, let it out.
Yeah.
I agree with
I think this is a great topic because I used to bottle everything up because, again, past relationship, I was like, oh, let's just keep a smooth road. Even if it bothers me, don't say anything because it'll cause a fight. Now with my new relationship, Dylan's like, Kate, I can tell something's wrong with you. Like, just tell me, just spit it out and let's move on. Let's work through it. So now I've gotten into the habit of like what you said, Tyler, like if this bothers me in 10, 20 minutes, I'm going to bring it up because I want to move forward. I don't want this like eating at me. And I can't fall asleep at night still in an argument. So sleeping on it's never the case for me.
Me either. I don't let it fester because if I wake up mad.
Whether it's relationship or friendship.
In a relationship, if we're arguing, I will sit there up all night just waiting for you to wake up. I'm just like, oh my
So when Tyler says sleep it off, he means for you, and he'll just be awkwardly staring at you until you're wide awake.
While you're sleeping, I'll be looking at you. I'll be staring at your closed eyes.
Then the best thing to do is not go to sleep on it.
Yeah.
No, Tyler's purposely making noises in the background so you wake up.
Oh,
It's playing the TV super loud.
So the righteous. Then the next one Indignation.
What's over 3 syllables here? I'm gonna spell this one in the chat. In case you can't.
No, I'm pretty confident. Don't
say anything wrong.
Indignation.
Right.
And that's basically, how could you say that? Or what's wrong with you? And I think if any of them,
gaslighting almost, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But like, this is, maybe I'm a gaslighter, but I do think when somebody says something mean to me, I'm like, how could you say that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, just tell me what's wrong. Like, you don't have to hit me with low blows.
Ugh,
you know?
I hate low
Or you
blows.
have to call me a name or whatever.
You don't have to call me a
I
name.
agree.
What's, you know, like,
Don't say anything you don't mean. And a lot of people do that in arguments.
like give it to me
That's
black and
why
white.
I'm
Whatever
gonna
I
go
do,
back
let's fix it.
to what Ty said, and I actually agree with him. Like, I sleep on things sometimes because, like, I'll just say something when I'm immediately mad and be like, I wish I never said that.
Dominic, you'll karate kick somebody in the top of the head.
Right when you're not
Yup.
looking, he'll pop,
Yup.
and you won't even know it's coming. So then I got to put my weapons away. Anyways,
So here's another one. Retribution. Basically, you'll pay for that. And I feel like this is more like a I think this is like a very childish, very immature way of handling things. I feel like a lot of kids did this like young, and I
Yeah.
hope no one does this anymore. Like,
Yeah.
It's straight
bro.
catty, bro.
Yeah, it's
When
like,
we'd be in high school and they'd be
So-
like posting a picture with a girl and it's like, say less. And then you'd post a picture with a guy
Yeah.
and then it
Yeah.
was,
it's basically
That's
you'll pay
toxic.
for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's even like oh she doesn't want to hit me back. Bet I'm gonna go try and I'm gonna go hook up with someone else. You know what I mean? Like I think that's like a very toxic, very immature person.
Very.
So if you've seen your buddy doing any of that retribution stuff, red flag.
red flag.
Red flag.
I was going to say,
red
there's
flag.
adults that still do that stuff. So
Then there's distraction. I think this one's pretty common of like, they're bringing something up and now you're going to throw in something like, oh, you don't trust me. Like maybe we're talking about, I think a big topic we talk about on here is like things like, oh, guys liking girls' pictures or those type of things. And it's like, oh, you don't trust me. It's like, how are we there?
Right.
the person throws the words out there. No. They're covering up for something else.
Yeah. No, I don't. The whole again, I think that's manipulation.
Yes, it is.
Trying to spin it. Like you're talking about this, and they're like, oh, you don't. They're just trying to spin it back on you, and that's I feel like, isn't that? Can someone tell me what gaslighting means? 'Cause I feel like that's gaslighting too.
Yeah. No.
Gaslighting is used so often now. I think everything's gaslighting.
Yeah, I don't even understand.
Yeah.
So someone needs to call in today and they really explain and break down gaslighting because I don't understand this shit.
Isn't
Yeah.
gaslighting just straight up you're lying and you're trying to cover
No,
something up?
gaslighting is like you're stirring that person up to get mad.
Right. Because I feel like, okay, the way I'm interpreting this is, so you don't trust me. So let's look at a scenario, right? So if it's like a guy wants to do a guy's night and then the girl's like, you don't like, I don't want you going out because I don't trust you. I think like that's ridiculous. But what if he's going out every single night to like 5 a.m.
Never invites him.
So it's like, and then he's saying to her like, oh, you don't trust me. It's like, no, you are not even in this relationship.
yeah.
So that's how I interpret that.
It's distracting from the actual issue.
Right. You're just
Gotcha.
deferring and making excuses. That's how I
Justification is also the worst. It's like you had it coming, like justifying what you did wrong because that person had it coming.
That's messed up.
Again,
This is
that's-
exhausting.
So
All of this
childish
is
stuff.
exhausting.
So Hope said gaslighting is saying the truth and making the person think it's not true. And think there is I don't know.
We have a definition off on the side here.
Defined as manipulating someone so as to make them question their own reality.
Yes.
So you're,
So-
you're covering a lie up. You're basically covering up the truth.
So it's basically comes down to like manipulation.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But they don't believe what they're saying.
Yeah.
So I think do you guys know what your fighting language? I guess I'll let Katie.
I hate all of these.
Do you,
Yeah,
but do you
that's
have your
what-
own fight?
Yeah.
What's your fight language?
I think it's like I would like to get things out and done and move on. And I always, always, always will cry.
I know.
Yeah.
In friendships too.
In friendships and work relationships and real relationships.
Hearted though, that's all.
It's just like, I want to get it out. I want to fix it because I care about you. And let's
Right.
just get to the bottom of it because whatever I did, I'm sorry. And there's nothing worse than
confrontation.
confrontation to me.
We don't like confrontation.
Yeah,
I know.
no. Let's just get
I
to the
agree.
bottom of it and move on.
I agree. It takes me a lot to fight, and none of these will make me fight. But if you want to talk about fighting, touch my loved one or touch my friends, I'm a protector.
But how do you fight? What like
when you and your
have
spouse,
an issue, what is your way of dealing with that issue?
When, like, if Amber and I are arguing and
Yeah.
she's coming at me, I shut down like a little boy.
But what about reverse? What if you have something you need to talk about?
And it's going to make her angry? Or
Just anything.
I just come out and talk about it. I mean, and hopefully she doesn't get mad about it if it's something that's bothering me.
Yeah.
I had a girl.
It's because we're
A
Libras.
girl I was dating.
Yeah, I'm real.
Every time I bring up an issue, she would always turn it back on me.
Ooh,
And I'm like, how the hell did we get here?
Distraction.
yeah.
You know, so
Distraction.
She loved by distraction.
yeah. And so that was always very frustrating. And then it started making me question myself. I'm like, no, this is about what happened here, not you know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Did I do something wrong?
Yeah, or it's like, or I'm bringing up an issue, and it's like, you always got to bring up something. You know, I'm setting a boundary. You know,
Yeah.
if something affects me, and then it eventually led to so many of those. I was like, there's too many. I'm not. This doesn't work. You know, and that's fine. You know, but I think it's interesting though. I feel like in relationships, my first relationship, you know, the last two relationships I had, I dealt with avoidance. Like that was my language. Like I would avoid the issue, and then it would just catch up to me and I'd be quiet and it would eat at me. That'd bring it out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then that was that. And then in my last relationship, I just like said, I was like, you know what? I don't have time. I don't want to feel like that anymore. And I just let it out. You know what I mean? Like, this is what's wrong. I don't like this. Like, this can't be this way if we want to move forward, you know? And, but I think with friendships and like work in the workplace, I still use avoidance. And like Katie brought up, Katie had a whole talk with me about it, you know? And she's like, when something bothers you or something's up, you just avoid it. And then it you know, builds up, and then it just becomes bad. Or
It turns to anger.
you get passive aggressive and you say things or do things that you don't even realize that you're doing.
Right.
You know, and then it makes it for, you know, whether toxic relationship, toxic work environment, all of that. So that has definitely been a learning thing for me because
I also think going off of that, it's a matter of like the people that you argue with, you're arguing because you care about them, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to get to the bottom of it. So why go through all the BS of bottling it up or the BS of distraction or all of these things? Like life's too short and we care about each other. Let's fix the problem. And I think that's how it always should be.
Yep.
I
Because
agree.
if somebody loves you, they're going to want to hear how you're feeling and they're going to
Yeah.
want to fix whatever it is that they did.
I try to sit back now instead of flying off the top. When I was younger, I would fly off the top and just say what's on my mind. But now I try to think about what I'm going to say
Right.
before I bring it to the person.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I do avoidance is because I saw so much fighting at my house. And so I'm just like, I'm tired of people fighting. You know, I'm tired. I don't want to fight. You know, I saw it my whole life. You know, and even it screws me at work because I don't want to fight with people. I don't even like negotiating with people. You know, because I'm just like, dude, it's not even. Like, I'll give it to someone else to do because it's just
Yep.
something I have to get over and learn how to do and get better at. But it's things that because I've seen so much fight and have had trauma from it, I don't want to partake in it, you know? And so then it builds and builds and builds. But I think I've gotten a lot better because I've had points in my life where I'm like, Tyler, if you don't do something about it, you'll never get anywhere. And I've also been burned so many times by so many people, you know, people that, you know, were my best friends and people that, you know, that I was dating and all that shit. And once you get burned enough, you just kind of get that, like,
It hardens you.
it hardens you.
Yeah.
It does.
You know,
does.
and it sucks, but it's just like it's also made me better though.
Yeah. To me, it's just a matter of like, cut it off and move on. It shouldn't harden you. Like, it's not on you that somebody hurt you. So why let it affect your future? That was on them to do you wrong. So you guys shouldn't harden. You're all lovers at heart. So like, stay being lovers. And when people hurt you, yeah, freaking hurts. But that doesn't mean you move on in life like not trusting other people.
Well, let's change the word of harden, because I understand what he's saying, because I feel the same way in my past. But maybe it just helps you grow. It helps you deal with life.
It's not necessarily hardened.
Yeah.
Because I think hardened would create more avoidance, but it's more so I don't have the patience or I'm just like, all right, I can't do it. You know what I mean?
Boundaries now.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, sucks. It hurts, you know, I think even now, like I'm trying to date again. I'm trying to put myself back out there. I'm doing these things, but I don't want to, like, part of me just like doesn't even want to try dating right now because I'm so busy with work. I'm so busy with everything going on. The last thing I want to do is get emotionally involved with somebody and put me through that roller coaster again.
Yeah.
You know, with everything I have going on. I'm like, man, I don't even want to give it a try. You know, and so it's hard because like you're trying to date, but you're also not letting these people in. So it's like, it's kind of unfair to them, unfair, you know, and unfair to the situation.
Right.
So it's something I have to try and find balance because not everyone is going to put me through that roller coaster.
Right.
I was just going to say, you got to change the mindset.
Me too. I was just going to say that.
And it's, I think this is what my life is now, work-wise. It's what it's going to be. I'm going to be busy and working long hours.
You're going to be grinding.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I love what I'm doing. I love building these houses. I love being down here. I love, you know, doing that. So I have to figure out how to let somebody in.
Yeah, and you'll find
You
somebody
need to,
that'll
because you're
come
only
along
gonna
with
get
you.
busier from here.
Yeah.
I mean, think about, like, people say to us all the time, because none of us, well, sorry, Phil has a child, but like, we think we're busy now. Wait until we have kids.
Yeah.
Wait until it gets crazy.
I was
So
gonna
if
say.
you're this busy with work, Ty, like, you have to open yourself up to finding that time and making that time.
And who cares? Go on the roller coaster. But like you said, with your last relationship, you set the boundaries right up forward and you didn't waste time. That was great. Move along with that mindset. Keep dating around. That's how you're going to find your person.
Amen.
Narrow them down.
Yeah.
You can't put yourself on a porch and expect to
You're
find-
doing great.
Yeah.
You're doing great, sweetie.
No,
I'm trying, y'all.
sweetie.
I'm trying, y'all.
Tyler needs somebody to hold his tool belt. Is there anybody out there?
Well, we're still working on finding a
what?
tool belt.
Okay, let's go into the chat write-ins.
Okay.
Tate has saved some of your chat write-ins and she's been sending them to us. And so we're gonna go
Tada
through
_, it's Tate.
I like that name. I want to change that mind. Ta-da.
them. Ta-da,
So-
it's Ty.
Ta-da. It's
Ta-da.
Phil.
I feel like I gotta be like naked, popping out of a box, like ta-da, it's Tyler, and with a bow on my head.
I always send the first 100 callers a picture of him doing that. I'm just kidding. Look at that. It went up.
And you
Okay.
can join my OnlyFans for $18.99 a month.
I wasn't going to go that cheap, brother.
That is
Sorry.
my second business model is low-key starting Tyler and
Low-key.
OnlyFans.
Well, you and I
Oh,
together
hell
on this
yeah.
one.
Anyways, back to that. Do you look for people who have the same love languages, or does it matter if they are the same or not?
I don't think it matters. I think it's just on you to learn how to love them and then find ways that, you know, even if it's out of your comfort zone, I think eventually you learn to love that person that way if you truly do love them, you know? But no, I mean, I don't think I've ever, I guess I always love someone that also love physical touch, because I think if you're with somebody that doesn't like physical touch, that's a compatibility thing,
That's a problem.
you know?
Yep.
I don't know. Kate, Tom?
You don't have to have this exact same, but I think there's one on this list of 5 that all of us are like, damn, if they don't have this, it's
Yeah.
kind of
Physical.
a deal breaker.
We need that
Physical
affection,
touch.
baby.
Yeah. All of
I
us.
need that
Phy-
affection.
Physical touch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm making bacon. Where's my booty grab?
Can I get an amen?
I'm cooking in the kitchen.
Can I come over for breakfast? I'll bring the biscuits.
We're too goofy on this damn show. All right, next.
From deep to goofy, so quick.
Everyone's writing, yes, Dom.
This was a good point. It says, this is why we're so picky finding a partner, because we want to create a good environment for our kids so they don't go through what we did. Give them a good modeled relationship.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Very good.
Amber Lynn just said something here. And she said something about what I was talking about. And she says, it's your mind trying to put you back in the unhealthy pattern. And I think
I love that.
we don't even know it sometimes, but like we go back to unhealthy things because it's comfortable and because we're used to it. And I think that's a really good point, Amber.
We're just afraid for it to happen again.
But we'll go back to what we know, and that could be trauma, it could be unhealthy things, because that's what we know, is what we see. And like also like you're sometimes you're like in like a toxic free environment or a very healthy relationship or whatever. You're like, this is too good to be true. This is too comfortable. Something's too good. What's going to happen? What's going to go wrong? And then you make it go bad because that's what you know. You know,
That's what I did in the beginning of me and Dylan's relationship. I'd be like, this is way too good to be true. What do you mean you're turning off the TV to have a talk? Like,
Yeah.
and then I'd like,
Freak out.
freak out. I'd be like, aren't we supposed to like fight now? Like scream, I cry, you scream.
who screams?
What?
Who screams?
That's what I was saying. I was so used to that in my old relationship. I would just get yelled at, cry. And so when I started dating Dylan, I was like, anytime we had an issue, he'd like turn off the TV, look at me, talk. And I'd be like, this is way too good, to be true, This is such a good, I don't know if this was you or not, Danny, but Tyler, how has your past relationships helped your journey to healing and love?
How has my past relationships helped my, say it again?
Helped your journey to healing and love.
Well, I think my past relationships have always taught me what I don't and do want in a relationship, So like, I think everyone I have dated, like, yeah, they didn't work out. Yeah, like I'll never text them ever again. But I'm thankful for them being in my life because they taught me what I want and what I don't want, I had an ex reach out to me the other day, and she's like, "Oh my God, I read this book about you, and it made me think about you, and like you're that character in that book, and I just hope you're well and all that." And I was like, "What are you reading? Green Eggs and Ham?" But really, it just be all my relationships, they have taught me what I do and don't want going forward, and for that, I'll always be thankful for them. But for what they did to me, I'm good on them.
Okay. What was this? Do you find yourself with people that make it easy to avoid and don't push you because it's comfortable?
One more time.
Do you find yourself with people that make it easy to avoid and don't push you?
Do I find it easy for myself?
Like,
Yeah.
do you surround yourself with people that like you think it's easier to avoid them than not push you because it's comfortable?
I think I'm listening to this wrong, but I'm gonna answer it, and you tell me if I'm listening to this wrong.
I'm interpreting like 5 different ways
Yeah.
too.
So
Yeah.
I think most of my friends and people around me are people that push me in the right direction, and will call me out when I'm not doing the right things. They'll joke about it maybe too if I'm doing the wrong things, but that joke means like, "Yo, get your shit together." But I also have some enablers too in my life that will just let me do whatever, and those aren't healthy relationships,
I agree.
because they want to do the wild and crazy things, so they know they have to get me to do the wild and crazy things.
Yep.
And so I definitely have that, but I don't know if this is about relationships or about friendship. I don't know.
It could be both.
Yeah.
Well, you have an equal of both in your life, don't you think?
What?
Of people who push you in the right way, and
Yeah,
people who
I haven't had a relationship push me in the right way at all. I haven't. I wouldn't say every relationship was kind of pulling me away from what I was supposed to be doing. So
Well, we're going to change that. Or I
Yeah.
hope you find the opposite.
I'm still suggesting for him to go older than what he is, though.
I'll try it.
You're
It's
even
worth a
your
try.
age or older.
Hey, send your mama, send your grandmas. I'm here. I'm ready.
Don't be saying grandmas. There'll be a list of them out there. You better watch out.
I think that's it. Unless some have come through since. Anybody else have some good questions for us?
I'm looking real quick. Let's go to the IG write-ins. Someone made a good point. We should make an email, and so people can really write in longer form questions and things like that in, and we can bring them up every week about the topic that's going on. That was a good note. Whoever wrote that.
Very good idea.
That's me.
Do we have IG write-ins, or we just did comments?
We did comments. Our IG write-in was about their love languages. What was the most love language? Oh, we have another one that just came in. Do you ever notice how your love fight languages plays out in your friendships too? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if I love you, and I'm going to love you with acts of service. Or I guess the only one I should clarify is physical touch. Although we're all huggers.
Yeah, we are huggers.
Yeah.
We're all
hug me.
huggers.
Yeah.
Hug
Yeah.
me, like, tell me you miss me.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I open up the lines here. Y'all can call us, share us your stories, share us your questions, and tell us about your love languages or fight languages.
We are lovers, aren't we? Man, as I'm looking around in the room.
Somebody wrote in on the
Straight
IG
up
that their love languages is acts of service and that her boyfriend surprised her with a candle-lit bath after a bad day at work.
That's my service too. That's my act of service.
That hits.
I love that. Honey?
Honey. I'll be home in 20.
And then add physical touch, so go ahead and climb in there with me.
We got our first caller, Tatiana. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? I stumbled across this show and I was like, wow, like this is really deep. Like I was happy to hear these topics.
I appreciate you calling in, Tatiana.
Welcome.
Where are you calling from?
I'm from New Jersey.
Hey, what's going on, Jersey?
How you doing, Miss Tatiana?
Good. I actually had a question based on something you guys said.
Yep, let's hear it.
So someone had mentioned that they felt like their love language was based off of what they didn't receive. And I wanted to know if some of you may think that it's the opposite, that it matches what you did receive and that's why you crave it. What do you guys think?
Kate,
Yeah.
I was the one who said it. I
Yeah.
crave it because I don't receive it.
Yeah, I think my mom's always done so much for us in the aspect of acts of service, and now that's definitely what I appreciate. Same with physical touch. My mom was always huggy and,
Yeah.
so yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah, I wish I could elaborate further, but I'm once Ty talked about words of affirmation, I almost think that I also need that because of my past, and I need the reassurance. I still love it, but I agree with you.
Because your parents said they loved you, they loved each other.
No,
a lot?
because of opposite.
No, because of opposite.
Oh, for opposite.
You
Yep.
want it because you
Because of the
didn't get
lacking
it.
of
Yeah,
it.
because of the lack of
Yeah.
it.
But I feel like you talked about your parents, how they affect you in a positive way.
Yeah,
Where-
mine. I mean, we never left the house without hugging and kissing before school. So I still want that, So I kiss my wife at 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning before I leave the house. It's just a thing I'm used to doing. So that's love for me.
What about
That's
you? What
interesting.
about you, Tatiana?
Yeah, so I think my main love language is words of affirmation. And I believe that I did receive it a lot from my family, like overall. Like growing up, I was always like told, the things that were like positive about me. And I think that helped like my confidence. And that's how I know that's how I like recognize when people care for me. But I can say that I didn't receive it from everyone. Like I could say that like there were times where I felt like I didn't receive it from my mom and times I didn't receive it from my dad. But I would say like overall, I received it from like the community that I grew up in.
Yep.
So I don't know, like I feel like it could be a mix.
I agree. I mean, this table right here, just the four of us have split.
Yeah.
Like 2 of us are based off of what we had and 2 of us based off what we lack. So I also think it's important to know where it stems from too, to make sure it's actually how you want to be loved and not maybe something that you're just trying to fulfill.
Absolutely. That's a good point too.
Yeah, I think.
Also,
Go ahead.
service, I
Go
like-
ahead, Tatiana.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying acts of service. That's the other one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna say like for me like that's one like my mom always was providing so many acts of service for me. So I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Like it
Used
doesn't.
to it.
Yeah, and like
Right.
now I have a hard time, and I actually have a hard time accepting things now. So it's not really my thing. But no, you made a good point there. I mean, because this group right here is 50-50 split on what we had and what we hadn't, for our love languages.
Very cool. Okay. Well, thank you for answering that.
Thanks for
Of
calling
course.
in.
Thank you for calling in.
Thanks for listening.
Nice meeting you guys.
Nice
Have a good
meeting you.
one.
Me
You
too.
too.
Have
a
a
good
great
night.
week. All right, this is good. I want to hear more.
All right.
Miss
Favorite.
Tatiana from New Jersey. I was going to ask her what part of New Jersey she was from.
My mom's from there.
My daughter lives there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Shalia's up in there.
Come
Come and talk to me.
Deli,
What's up?
what's going on? How you doing?
Good. How's everyone doing tonight? This got really deep real quick.
It did.
Real
It
good.
did.
How you doing?
Hi.
I'm good, living the dream here in New York City.
Hey,
Big Apple.
where you at in New York City?
So I'm actually a grad student at NYU, so I'm in like the East Village area, but I actually live in Wellington, Florida, like West Palm
Hey,
Beach.
we're like kind of
Wow.
neighbors in both areas.
I love
I have
that.
friends in Wellington.
Yeah. So this is so exciting. I can't believe I'm on the call with you all.
Heck yeah. Thank you for listening.
Of course. First time listening live and then calling in, so this is fun.
Heck yeah.
So I wanted to kind of talk about how my parents had a really healthy marriage, and I saw that growing up with like acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, all of it in a healthy way. So that's kind of feeding into why I'm single, because I'm looking for that like magic and spark that they have. So it can kind of go both ways, right? You all are talking about things you didn't have, what you desire. And then the other side, it's like you see this and you're like, is it magic? Is it lust? Does it really exist? So kind of those two layers were the conversation I was having. And I always talk about it with my mom or like my cousins and my friends.
Well,
So
I think your parents
curious.
set the standard for you.
I was just going to
They
say,
set a
it's
high
your
bar.
Yeah.
standards are high and keep them there.
Yeah. So I think you being single is a good thing because you have really high standards off of what you've seen from your parents.
I don't think you should ever lose that. That's special.
We all agree, do not lower the bar.
Okay, perfect. The consensus is stay here.
Yeah. Your parents did it right, and you got a great example in front of you. And I think that's why, you're trying to find that, and you should. But also you should give someone a chance
I
to
was
grow.
going to say, not necessarily like close yourself off to everybody, but
Yeah.
like still put yourself out there. But it's like,
Because Delia, I'll say this: me as a guy who comes from the opposite of probably what you came from, when I see that, I want that. When I like say if I come to meet your family, like I'm gonna want that. Like I was got attracted to the girls I was dating because I also saw a good
Yeah.
family. I was like, I want to be them. I want to learn from them. I may not be that yet, but I want to get there.
Right.
And so maybe don't close yourself off from everybody, because there may be somebody that wants to grow into what you have. I always looked up to how tight all the families were. That every person I dated, they had a full family. And
Yes.
I loved it. I loved meeting their families because I got so like attached to the family because I wanted to become what their family was. I wanted to build like something similar because I never had that.
Yeah. It's like a big Latino family. So there's always
Oh, the
like
best.
noise
The
and
best.
music and like hugs and like affection.
Oh,
So yes, everyone
yes.
come for a barbecue in Wellington.
say less. We
Y'all-
love barbecue.
I know there'll be a lot of opportunities because y'all celebrate every holiday and every accomplishment in Latin families. So
Let's go.
Every birthday, you lost a tooth party.
yeah, exactly.
I love that.
The tooth fairy still exists in this
My
damn
mom was the
family.
same way. We got a carvel cake for everything.
I love it.
Yeah, that's something my dad, he's always like, something good happened, celebrate it. Something not so good, like learn from it and keep moving with a smile. So
Heck
yeah.
Well, best of luck at NYU grad school. That's amazing.
Thank you. I'll be back in Wellington, West Palm Beach in December for break. So
Cool. Well, I think we're gonna have a big
hang
event
out.
eventually in December, so we'll let you know, and you have to come join us.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
night.
You
See you.
too.
Thanks.
Oh, sweetie pie.
Good energy. Love the energy.
Little sweetie pie.
Oh, sweetie pie.
You're so Italian. I love it.
It's a sweetie pie.
Mambo Italiano.
I love Italian families. Obviously, I married
And
one.
suddenly we're eating chicken parm and
Yeah.
meatballs.
Hello.
Damn, sounds good.
Hey guys,
Hey, how are you?
Hello.
what's up?
I saw
Hey, Dom.
I saw you with
Hi.
some great comments, and so I wanted to get you in here. You're making good points all night
Thanks.
tonight.
Yeah, thanks. So it's kind of interesting because I feel like since I've gotten older, I feel like I have like 20% in like all 5 love languages, which is interesting because I feel like if you talked to me maybe 5-6 years ago, it probably would not be that way right now.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in a divorced family. My parents got divorced when I was 5. And, like my dad, I guess, showing his love of affection to me was by buying me things,
Right.
like taking me shopping, and because he lived in New York when my parents got divorced. And so, I feel like I kind of craved that type of affection if I was in a relationship when I was younger. But now it's like, you get wiser and you see healthy relationships around you like we've been talking about. And I feel like, honestly, I don't know. I feel like I need a little bit of all 5. That
Yeah.
might sound kind of crazy.
No, I think that's
but-
It's
fair.
not crazy at all.
That's what we were on.
Yeah.
I was on the same page.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, I want it all.
I want it all. Yeah.
I want it all too.
I know, right?
Gifts at the
it
bottom,
all.
but everything else, I want it all.
Yeah.
Every one
Yeah,
of those, every
because, like, if you get a little bit of one of them, then who's to say that later on you might not crave a little bit of the other one? You know what I mean?
and I think at the end of the day, all these love languages are all ways that make you feel special and make
Yeah.
you feel loved. And I think so. It's okay to want a little bit of every one of them. Like I think that's completely normal.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I also
But
think.
everybody,
Go ahead.
what?
I was saying, I also think it comes down to like communication too. It's like just not expecting our partner to know how we're feeling
Yeah.
that or what we're needing. Like,
And it's
Use your
so
words.
crazy. Like, I mean, listening to you guys, like, it really makes people that call in and listen, like, I mean, God, y'all make me think about my life, like, really deep.
I mean, we're all in the same boat.
us,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking about, like, even my friends, like, I was the maid of honor in a wedding like 5 years ago, and now we're not even friends anymore. And
Yeah.
I'm like
Wow.
sitting here thinking, like,
That's called growing
You
up,
know,
though.
yeah, it is. It's weird, and it's sad to say, but I feel like we grew apart once she had kids, and I wasn't on the same page as her.
Mhm.
You know,
We're seeing
that-
that with our lives too.
I'm sure you guys will
Yeah.
come back around eventually one day. But
I mean,
Maybe
I don't
not.
know, maybe.
And
Maybe.
if not, it's okay. That was that chapter.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say that.
Like-
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think that's awesome.
for
Like
sure.
for us with this podcast, like that's why every week you hear us go like, we can't wait to hear from you guys. We're still learning. We're still
we
like,
learn from you guys
Yeah.
coming on here. Even your
I learn from you
comments and the
guys.
chat, everything.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah.
We're all in this
It's
together.
It's low
Are
key
you
group
single?
therapy.
Yep. For all of us.
Unfortunately, Tyler, I'm not. But I will say, every time I call in and listen, I'm like, I'm not just saying this. I'm like, God, Tyler and I have a lot in common. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And how long have you been, if you don't mind me asking, with your guy?
Oh, God, 6 years.
Wow, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So you got
And
to
I
tell him
just,
tonight, like, babe, work on 20% of
I just-
every
I
affirmation.
turned 33 yesterday, and
Hey,
he's
happy
younger
birthday.
than me.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Thanks, guys.
October.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And Tyler, I know that you grill out with Jack Arnold, and he lives like 10 minutes from my house.
Really?
So next time you're in Charlotte, I have a green egg. We need to do like a cook-off.
Let's do it. Let's do it. What the heck's that? Davidson. You live in Davidson?
Yeah. No, Huntersville.
Huntersville? Got it.
I think everyone knows Tyler's love language is food because we got invited to a barbecue. Yeah. We got invited to another barbecue.
Not gonna lie. That's a big one for
Yeah.
me.
And then listen, they have
And
a
I
bottle
know
of tequila and they come in for the
I've been
kill.
hitting up Dom because I was the one on episode 7 that was trying to talk business to you, and you still didn't read my DMs yet.
What's that?
I've reached out to Corner Lot, the president of Corner Lot. What's his name?
Andy Allen?
Yeah, we connected on LinkedIn because our company's based out of Florida, so I'm trying to do some business with Corner Lot.
Yeah, you should definitely get in with them. I'll tell Andy to look for you.
Okay.
Has he responded to you?
No, not yet, but he accepted like my connection on LinkedIn, so
Gotcha.
I'm making steps.
DM Corner Lot Development, the Instagram.
I did. No one's responded yet.
I'll see what I can do.
Well done. Making moves.
Well, I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank
Keep
you,
it up.
Allie.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good night.
All right, y'all. That is another episode of the Everybody Me Show. That is episode number
16.
16. We'll see you next week for 17.
Sweet 16.
I got a song in my head, dude.
What song?
Come and talk to me.
Actually, it's something different this time.
Oh, wow.
All my life.
I pray for someone like you.
Yep.
And I thank God
I never heard that.
that I finally found you.
We'll be singing that song one day for Tyler. I promise you that.
One day.
I can't wait for that day.
Me too.
You're going to have to dress up as a guy.
I know I'm going to be your best. I am. I'm going to be his best woman
Let's
in a
go.
tux.
One man.
And he's going to wear a dress as my man of honor.
Man of honor.
I love it.
There we go.
I love it. Let's go.
All right. Well, I love you guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on AMP. Peace. Peace.
Peace.